Happy Sunday, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining me on our daily episode of AI book reading. My name is Samuel Nowale, your AI expert, your AI advisor, your AI futurist, your AI specialist, your AI governance experts, and your AI strategist, and also the author, the executive producer, the host and executive producer of the AI book reading and also the AI Spotlight show. I hope you guys are doing great today. We're about to embark on our daily book reading where we spend 30 minutes of our time to go through our selected AI book. Just to provide a little context before we ride on the book reading. The beginning of this year, we set a goal of reading four AI books with major emphasis on AI ethics, AI governance, responsible AI, and AI safety. And so far, we've been able to complete the reading of three books. And right now, we're rounding up the fourth one. And the first book we read is titled AI Governance, a Primer, and the author is Edward Aden. And the second book we read is titled AI Governance, Applying AI Policy and Ethics Through Principle and Assessment. The author is Dr. Daryl J. Carlton. And the third book we read is an unofficial guide for prepping for AI governance professional certification, which is abbreviated as AIGP, is a certification that is coordinated by International Association of Privacy Professional, IAPP. And the last on our list is titled Responsible AI in the Age of Generative Model, and the author is I. Alameda. We're almost running up with this. We're currently in page 392. Um, if you want to catch up with some of the previous book that we've read, you can go back to the previous videos. If you're on Instagram, just go back to my previous videos. And on LinkedIn and Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, on YouTube, we have a channel that is titled AI Book Club. Yeah, just check my bio. Then on LinkedIn, I'm not sure we've posted. There's a bio where that can take you down to the Instagram channel or the YouTube, but I'm going to post that later in the day. Thank you for joining us on today's book reading. Okay, let's get started. We're in chapter 71. Emerging Generative AI Startups and Downstream Rates. That is the title of this chapter. The rapid advancement of generative AI has given rise to a new wave of startups developing and deploying large language models for various applications. While many of these startups, such as Anthropic and OpenAI, demonstrate a commitment to developing AI model in an ethical and responsible manner, the use of this model still presents significant challenges and risks for downstream companies. Data security and privacy concern. Data security and privacy are paramount concern for downstream companies utilizing generative AI models, despite the best effort of AI startups to develop models with robust da- data protection principles. The inherent nature of these models possess risks of unintentional memorization and disclosure of sensitive information. Generative AI models such as Claude and GPT-4 are trained on vast amounts of data sourced from the internet, including personal information, copyrighted material, and potentially sensitive or confidential data. While these models are designed to generalize patterns rather than memorize specific data points, there is always a possibility that the model may inadvertently retain and reproduce sensitive information in its outputs. This poses significant challenges for downstream companies in terms of compliance with data privacy regulations, such as the GDPR in the European Union or the California Consumer Privacy Act in the United States. This regulation mandates strict requirements for the handling, processing, and protection of personal data, and any breach or violation can result in severe penalties and reputational damage. Downstream companies must navigate this complex regulatory landscape and develop comprehensive strategies to mitigate the risks of data breaches and privacy violation. These include implementing strong data governance, policy, regularly auditing data practices, and ensuring that appropriate technical and organizational measures are in place to protect sensitive information. Furthermore, the right to be forgotten and the right to rectification under GDPR present additional challenges in the context of generative AI models. If an individual requests the erasure of their personal data from a model, it may be technically difficult to ensure complete removal. Given the complex and opaque nature of this model, similarly, rectifying inaccurate or misleading information generated by the model can be a daunting task. To address this concern, downstream companies must work closely with generative AI startups to develop robust data protection protocols and techniques. This may involve advanced techniques such as differential privacy, federated learning, or secure multi-party computation to minimize the exposure of sensitive data during the training and deployment of this model. Legal liabilities and content moderation. Generative AI models, even when trained to adhere to certain principles, may still produce content that infringes upon various legal norms, exposing downstream companies to significant legal liabilities. These risks include the generation of defamatory content, copyright infringement, or the violation of other laws and regulations. For instance, if a generative AI model produces content that damages an individual reputation or violates their privacy rights, the downstream company using that model could face costly lawsuits and legal repercussions. Similarly, if the model generates content that infringe upon copyright or intellectual property rights, the company could be held liable for the violation. To mitigate these risks, downstream companies must implement robust content moderation and filtering mechanisms. This involves developing advanced algorithms and techniques to automatically detect and flag potentially infringing or harmful content generated by the AI model. Human oversight and manual review processes may also be necessary to ensure the accuracy and appropriateness of the generated content. However, content moderation at scale presents its own set of challenges. The sheer volume of content generated by this model can make it difficult to effectively review and filter all outputs in real time. Moreover, the subjective nature of certain legal norms, such as what constitutes defamation or fair use under copyright law, can make it challenging to develop clear and consistent moderation guidelines. Downstream companies must also grapple with the issue of transparency and accountability when using generative AI model. The black box nature of this model can make it difficult to understand how specific outputs were generated or to trace the source of infringing content. This lack of transparency can complicate effort to assign liability or responsibility when legal issues arise. To navigate these challenges, downstream companies should work closely with legal experts and AI ethics specialists to develop comprehensive legal risk assessment and mitigation strategies. This may involve regular audits of the AI model's outputs, clear documentation of content moderation policies and procedures, and proactive engagement with relevant stakeholders such as content creators, right holders, and regulatory bodies. Ethical consideration and responsible AI deployment. Why generative AI startups like Anthropic are at the forefront of developing models that align with human value and ethical principles, downstream companies using this model must still grapple with the potential for the generation of misleading, biased, or harmful content. Even with the most advanced constitutional AI approaches, there is always a risk that the model art, may produce outputs that perpetuate societal biases, spread disinformation, or promote harmful ideologies. For example, a model trained on historical data may inadvertently reflect and amplify historical biases related to race, gender, or other protected characteristics. To mitigate these risks, downstream companies must establish ethical guidelines and principles for the use of generative AI models. This involves developing a deep understanding of the potential ethical pitfalls and risks associated with these technologies and implementing robust processes to identify and address any issues that arise. This may involve regular audit and assessment of the model output to detect and mitigate any biases or harmful content. It may also require the development of explicit ethical constraints and safeguards that are integrated into the model training and deployment processes. Downstream companies should also prioritize transparency and accountability in their use of generative AI models. This involves being clear and upfront about the use of this technology, providing appropriate disclosures and explanation to users and stakeholders, and establishing clear channels for feedback and redress in case of any issues or concerns. Furthermore, downstream companies should invest in ongoing training and education for their employees and stakeholders on the ethical implications and responsible use of generative AI technologies. This can help foster a culture of ethical awareness and responsibility throughout the organization. Business continuity risks and contingency planning. The reliance on external API and services provided by generative AI startups introduces significant business continuity risks for downstream companies. If a startup experiences an outage, discontinues its service, or changes its policy or pricing, it could have severe consequences for the company that depend on this technology for critical business function. For example, if a generative AI API that powers a company chatbot or content creation pipeline goes offline or becomes unavailable, it could disrupt customer interaction, lead to lost revenue, or damage the company reputation. Similarly, if a startup decides to change its pricing model or limit access to an API, it could significantly impact the cost structure and viability of the downstream company's business model. To mitigate this risk, downstream companies must engage in thorough contingency planning and risk assessment when integrating generative AI model into their business processes. This involves identifying critical dependency on external API and services, assessing the potential impact of disruption or changes, and developing robust backups and failover mechanism. Downstream companies should also consider diversifying the generative AI partnership and integrating multiple API or services to reduce their reliance on a single provider. This can help spread the risks and ensure business continuity in case of any issues with a particular provider. Furthermore, companies should establish clear service level agreement and contractual provisions with generative AI startups to ensure the reliability, availability, and performance of the provided services. This may include stipulation for uptime guarantees, data backups, and disaster recovery procedures, and clear communication channels in case of any disruption or changes. Ongoing monitoring and testing of the generative AI integration should also be a priority for downstream companies. This involves regularly testing the performance and reliability of the API, monitoring for any errors or anomalies, and having promises in place to quickly detect and receive any issues that arise. By proactively addressing these business continuity risks, and implementing robust contingency plan, downstream companies can ensure the resilience and stability of the operation even in the face of potential disruption or changes in the generative AI landscape. Conclusion: to navigate these challenges, downstream companies must adopt a comprehensive and proactive approach to governance and risk management. This includes conducting regular audits of data security practices, seeking legal guidance to understand potential liabilities, developing ethical guidelines for AI use, and establishing robust business continuity plan. Engaging in open dialogue with generative AI startups, regulators, and stakeholders is also crucial. By staying informed about the evolving landscape of AI regulation and actively participating in discussion around responsible AI development and deployment, downstream companies can better position themselves to mitigate risk and harness the benefit of these powerful technologies. Wow, this is really amazing. I'm going to break down what we just read right now. The focus of the book is on responsible AI. And we say responsible AI are simply ethical practices that should be adopted when you are building an AI solution, or to make sure that you build an AI technology that is safe to use. Safe to use in the sense that an AI technology that does not intrude into individuals, privacy in terms of having access to their personal information. Building an AI technology that is reliable and safe to use, building an AI technology that is fair in terms of decision making and is not biased. Now, what this chapter is focused on a concept that is called, business contingency plan, or you can call it business continuity plan or business contingency plan. Those two concepts are kind of intertwined together. Then, now, why this approach is very important: many AI startups that you are seeing today, they are all powered by bigger AI organization or downstream companies like Google, like Nvidia, like Microsoft, like AWS, and the likes of CoreWeave. Yeah, CoreWeave is another company that I think is an AI cloud platform. Any organization that is supporting, helping other AI companies or startups, to being in existence, like powering them with GPU, with data center. These are the downstream companies. Then, what this discussion is saying that downstream companies should have, they should have backup in case if something fail. because a lot of AI startups company or a lot of businesses will be relying on them. Then whenever there is any form of shutdown with these AI companies, with this downstream sector, is going to have a massive impact on the business, and it might cause some form of disaster. Now, let's look at it in the form of healthcare. If healthcare is now powered by artificial intelligence and they are performing, right now, there's a common use case I like in healthcare, performing surgery remotely. Now, if a surgeon is performing surgery remotely and there is, what is it called? There is a downtime or there is a failover with the AI power supply, or there is a disruption in the AI services, yeah, that can actually affect the surgery process. Then what this chapter is saying is that they should have a backup plan. There should be a contingency plan or roadmap in place in case there is a disruption in AI services. Then that is basically what we just covered today. And it is something you can also apply to your life as an individual. It's good to rely on one source of income. Yeah, it's fine if you're okay with it, you don't want to stress yourself. But there is always inconsistency in terms of, economic policies. Now, that is why it is advisable that while you are doing a particular job, also try to get some extra skills so that if there is an issue with your current job, you can have another skill that you can leverage as a source of income. Then having that contingency plan or backup in is something you can incorporate in every aspect of your life, then it's really, really important that you always have a contingency, backup, a contingency plan in case what if the source of income we are making money or the company shut down, or if the skill is no longer needed, because right now AI is going to eliminate some current jobs. AI is going to replace those jobs. Then are you doing anything to acquire an additional skill so that you can remain relevant? That is very important. Please do not have a mindset of saying, oh no, I'm old now. As long as you are still breathing, I'm telling you, you are as valuable, you are very important, you can still make a difference. Yeah, if you are 50 or 55, do not give up on your destiny. As long as you are still breathing, you can make a difference, you can make an impact. You were born for a reason. We are not born to live on earth just to like earn a life. No, or just earn a living. You are meant to be a blessing to others. You are meant to contribute to the development of the human society. That's an individual. I encourage you and urge you to have a mindset to be an impactful person. Be an impactful person. Be that individual that wants to make an impact. Do not see yourself like someone that is not relevant. Everyone has one little sense or the other. There's something. You see, your current situation could be an inspiration to another person. Yeah, you might think you are not where you are right now, but let me tell you, your current situation can be an inspiration to someone else. What you've done or the battles or the challenges you've been able to overcome or confront today, what you've overcome today can be an inspiration to help someone be on their feet. That is why it is good to share, share part of your story. Do not see, to be honest, every take away Remove that mindset like, oh, I'm shy, I can't talk to people. No. What make one of the sign to exhibit as an individual is to lend your voice. If you are living on earth and you are not lending your voice out, to me, you are claiming that you are dead. I'm telling you the truth. Then it doesn't require any special skill to lend your voice out, to share your story out there. Get your phone and say something inspirational, say something how you were able to overcome a challenge. Just say the step by step process of how you were able to overcome a challenge. Share a testimony of something that was a challenge to you, or something you were like an hostage. You could be an hostage to a particular maybe habit. You can be an hostage to a particular problem. Share a testimony of how you were able to overcome it. Just record it and post it. I'm telling you, it's going to be a source of inspiration to someone that is going through the same challenge. Please live a purposeful life by lending your voice. That is my message for you this morning. Live a purposeful life by lending your voice. Now we have different kinds of social media platform. You see, the moment you start lending your voice, that is the moment. You see, the moment you start lending your voice, you will start making impacts. And everything around you that seems to be quiet will begin to receive life. I'm going to give you an act this morning. You see, the best way of embarking on the journey of success is to start lending your voice. What does it mean to lend your voice? Say something impactful. Share a story about yourself that will be a source of inspiration to someone. That is your first step to embark on the journey of success. The little wins that you have could be a source of inspiration to someone. You could think that the challenges that you have overcome are something that are not shareable, but I'm telling you, there is someone who is more weaker than you. There is someone who has not been able to achieve what you've achieved today as an individual. But you lending your voice by sharing a little bit of your story of what you've done. Maybe you were the first to have a university education in your family. You could share it as a story, what you did to achieve that great feat. Yeah, you can share it. It will be a source of inspiration to someone. And do you know, when you lend your voice and you share your story, it comes back with joy, and you'll be what? Rejuvenated. Then do not have a mindset that I don't have anything to offer. Or you see, the fact that you don't have money doesn't mean that you are not relevant to the human society. You see, the moment you develop a mindset to become a blessing to others by lending your voice, by sharing your story, I'm telling you, everything about you that is currently quiet will become visible. Then my message for you this morning is live, lend your voice to live a purposeful life. Share your story. Start speaking, start saying positive things. Start celebrating your small win. And in today's world, you need to have a contingency plan. It is very important. And because of the emergence of artificial intelligence, a lot of things is going to change. People are going to lose their job. AI is going to replace some job. It is time to start upskilling yourself. As a business owner, it is time to start exploring how AI can help you to accelerate your business more faster, how AI can help you to become a productive business owner. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of AI Book Reading. My name remains Henry Onole, your AI expert, your AI specialist, your AI advisor, your AI futurist, and your AI ethics and governance expert. Thank you so much. See you guys soon for our daily AI Spotlight teaching series.